again, friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to your Wednesday Nights Talking Town in partnership with Match Bingo. Play Match Bingo, win cash prizes. How you download Match Bingo? Well, you go to your app store very simply and search Match Bingo. Every time you play Match Bingo, you are supporting to the crucial work of the East Anglian Air Ambulance, a crucial service indeed. So, yeah, search Match Bingo. Play Match Bingo, win cash prizes. They've got some offers to start the season. So when you download the app and look on, you'll be, I'm sure, welcome with a welcomed message. But Play Match Bingo, over 18s only. Be gamble aware. But we're here to discuss. Well, Liverpool was last week. Man City is this week. It doesn't come much easier in the Premier League, does it, my friends? And I was searching on, before we went live on BBC, and you know, our Google Chrome or whatever web browser you like to use, likes to think for you. So you put in BBC or whatever, it comes up with suggested search, League One table. My Google Chrome hasn't been notified. I don't need the League One table. Well, they Stockport are top. Well done, Stockport, on a good start. But yeah, League One table. No, I'm not looking to see if we come out of 10th place just yet. We're in the Premier League now, and they don't come much bigger than Manchester City. But as always, we can't do these shows without you wonderful people at home. So please do get involved in our live chat. It is a match preview. It's not a match preview and a transfer special, or a match preview after a transfer special, because obviously Brozier, not yet confirmed. We'll go live the moment that is confirmed. So if it's tomorrow, join us again tomorrow to discuss that, where we'll hopefully have some fans clicking the link to have their say. But let's get into this evening then. We've got some comments coming in already. Paul P, Lynn, Mike, Adam Blamplay, welcome all in. So yeah, how are you feeling ahead of this one? Are you feeling confident? I say confident and then sort of trail off. Remembering we're not playing Forest Green, whoever, we're playing the champions of England with Haaland up front. But joining me this evening is somebody you may not have seen on the platform for, I don't know, all of 20 minutes. The one, the only, Matthew Phillips. And he says to me, right, by the way, for those at home, I seem to live on here at the moment.
A lot of content to get through at the moment, isn't there, Martin?
Absolutely. It's delightful, right? It's delightful because the world, officially cares about the Premier League, and obviously we're a part of that now. And there's just so much to get through, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. If no one's heard it, we did, what, a 50-minute special with Dave Mooney from Blue Moon, Man City today. That was good, wasn't it?
Yeah, so Dave Mooney from Blue Moon Podcast popped by this morning. We recorded that. That's been uploaded now for a couple of hours. If you've not seen it, go and check it out. He'll give us the rundown on Man City, if you've not seen him enough on Sky Sports as it was. Why he, playfully, but didn't like Ipswich growing up. It was a great conversation, to be fair.
Who knew we were such a thorn in their side that it caused all this trauma? Even after they've won the Champions League and they've won Premier League titles, it still festered. I felt it did.
Yeah, but, absolutely. It was great. It was a great conversation, though. Really, we went all around, around the houses, as it were. We started at one place, went to the past, came back to the present. Obviously, they're signing midfield player themselves in Grandawan, and we went sort of everywhere, didn't we? Really, in the conversation. What was your highlights from it? What was your takeaways?
Well, I mean, the big thing I wanted to ask him, and people who have watched it back already will see that I was really intrigued to see if he missed those main road years when Manchester City, for people, people that were kids back in the day. Man City were just seen as kind of like an unlucky club. Oh, if there's any team that goes down to the third tier and finishes mid-table, it'll be Manchester City. So I mean, how that cultural shift has changed with the ownership that's come in, and Dave went into quite a lot of depth about that, didn't he? So that was interesting to me because, I mean, they're just they've gone from a football club to a brand, basically, haven't they? It's like, they're like Coke or Pepsi now, aren't they? They're on par with that, really. But yeah, those main road years when, Ipswich was a fixture there, be it generally in the second tier, was really interesting. I mean, look, we could have spoken to him for 2 hours, like you said.
We really could have done
stuff, didn't we? It
was really good. We really could have done. And as I say on the show, if you've not seen it, the link is in the description. It's also on the platform. We made it through a Man City sort of podcast, if you like, a chat with a Man City fan without mentioning Erling Haaland, which is almost impossible these days. I got to the end of it, I was like, wow, he's not mentioned Haaland like once. I mean, they're sort of arguing they're their best player, or certainly one of the Premier League's top strikers at the moment. And that's how much the conversation was such in depth. So go and check it out if you've not seen it. As I said, the link is in the description. And there's, not exactly a wave of positivity coming through in the chat. Like maybe it says, if we can keep it below 4, I'll be happy.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm probably kind of like that as well. I mean, look, when the fixtures were announced, we was all excited, but also sort of it was nerve wracking, wasn't it? And look,
Yeah.
we gave ourselves a good account last week against Liverpool, and deservedly got beat in the end because the game is 90 minutes and not the 55 where we really played a fantastic shift. And let's see what we do on Saturday. But we knew this was coming. It's a bit like watching like a hurricane. There's a film at the moment, isn't it? Twister, when you got the hurricane on the horizon coming towards you, and Liverpool, Man City, kind of like embody that kind of school of thought, I think. But
as David said, playing a big team early, particularly Man City, can sometimes go towards you because I think he said himself, Pep's teams aren't necessarily up and running early stages of the season. So
he thought they were still unfit, didn't he? Is what he told us. And he said the season that I think Cardiff went down finishing bottom or something with at low points total, they won at the Etihad. So you never know. I always think back to like when I was a kid, right? And I remember being able to stay up to watch Spain 82 World Cup, Brazil versus Scotland, because John Walk was playing, and no one gave Scotland an absolute chance. And they took the lead after about 8 minutes. Walkie heads one down for this guy from Dundee United, David Nerry. I was like, oh my God, the Scotland are going to beat Brazil. I can't believe it. And of course, Brazil come back and won about 4-1 in the end. And I think that's probably what might happen. I've had a premonition that we will score first. A Smodix long-range effort, and we'll all go crazy. And that'll be our moment.
Absolutely take it. As he said, football, it's a funny old game, and it just needs the ball to bounce right for you once, or bounce against their striker another way, and who knows what you sort of walk out from. But we said this morning, but obviously it wasn't on the end show, so I thought, we'll keep this for conversation tonight. I'm really excited about this fixture. This is what the hard yards in League One, for those that made the many miles. This is what the 1-0 defeats at home to Lincoln, and all the times you had, almost the wind knocked out of you as a Town fan, and this is it. You've arrived in the Premier League. You're going to play the top team in England. It's been the top team now for a long time, and you can argue until the cows come home as to the reasons behind the why. But on the grass, which is where it's played, Pep Guardiola, Man City have been the dominant force for a long time. And you've seen Pep's influence throughout the game now, in terms of how teams play, how goalkeepers are viewed. And this is what we're here for, right? Yeah, it's going to be a tough game. This is the exciting moments. This is where you're going to see your team, not in FA Cup third action against your reserves or whatever. It's going to be Man City. They might make some changes, but it's still going to be a team full of absolute world-class superstars. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm buzzing for it. Another chance to stargaze, as Mike D says in the chat.
It is, but also, let's not forget, we don't want to be rocking up there like Maidstone did at Portman Road. Well, Maidstone obviously beat us, but as their fans, they sort of turned up like tourists, didn't they? I don't want us to be like that. I mean, look, as we said in the chat with Dave, we've seen Ipswich relegate Manchester City. Now, obviously, we've been poles apart over the last couple of decades. I couldn't believe he said they'd been at the Etihad for 20 years now. Time flies, doesn't it? That's unbelievable. That's no longer a new stadium, isn't it? No, but I don't want us to turn up there like in the Paddy Power advert where they take the piss. You're now a plucky side. We're there on merit. We come with momentum as well. We've been back-to-back promotions, and we've got probably one of the best young managers in the world at the helm. We've put in a great shift against Liverpool, which everyone is waxing lyrical on all sorts of platforms, be it TalkSport, Sky, TNT, whatever it might be. And I'm sure that's been echoed around the world. So I just hope we can go there as Ipswich Town, the guys that are going as Ipswich Town supporters, and get behind the team. And they will
do that. Of course, they'll do that. Yeah, absolutely.
It's a bit like chasing a marble down Mount Everest, isn't it? Trying to get 3 points there, it's almost impossible. But let's go there and put in a really good performance. And if we get beat, then so be it. But I mean, look, it's only 90 minutes. They only get 3 points. And if we could show that same endeavour, the same attitude, the same mindset as we had in that first half against Liverpool, then I think lots of people will be watching us on Match of the Day that evening going, once again, Ipswich have put in a good shift, and they look like a team that could do something, when they're not playing sides that are competing for Champions League spots or titles.
Yeah. But, the season will not be defined, obviously, particularly this early in the season, by what you do against Man City, both home and away, in all fairness, and we'll get into it more on Sunday's podcast. So join us Sunday for more of this sort of chat. But it'll be the next 6 after that in terms of what you feel Town can get back points wise. But Mike D's, makes a great comment in the chat just to finish off what he was saying. After City, the saga needs to stop and the points need to start accumulating. Paul P. Interesting to see how McKenna approaches this one. If he goes too gung ho, it could be the lessons of Leeds away. Yeah. And of course, McKenna hasn't lost 2 games in a row. So as Sonny sort of jokingly says in the chat, Pep's not ready for McKenna. Pep's not ready for McKenna.
He'll always have that record for the Football League.
Oh, I like it. We changed it already.
Yeah,
I love it.
Run it round for you. This is what I do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, who knows? But yeah, I mean, like you said earlier, who could have dreamt of this, Martin, when we beat Exeter? When we got promoted and we was 5-0 up at half time or whatever it was.
Oh, my Google Chrome bar. That's for sure.
No, exactly. Yeah, still thinks you're there. I mean, you've got aspirations, didn't we? Can we consolidate in the Championship and then go to the Premier League a couple of seasons after? Who knows? But you go through the division, and here we are, and we've been rewarded. We've had Liverpool last week, Man City here, and at least what happens. But I do agree with the guys. It's all very well saying, "Oh, if Ipswich play like that for the rest of the season, they'll have no problems." But you do actually have to turn up against your Fulhams, your Brightons, your Southamptons, and actually put in that same level of performance, which I think is probably what Luton and the like struggled with last season, which is why they got relegated. They scored the goals, Luton, didn't they? But still, it wasn't enough.
Before I get through some more comments in our live chat, don't forget, if you're watching on Catch Up, FTA, comment for that algorithm. Let us know how you're thinking ahead of the weekend. If you're a Man City fan, let us know your thoughts as you head into it. If you're just a Premier League fan, again, we'd welcome you to leave a comment. And as always, Matt, what do we need the wonderful people, regardless of who they support, to do at home?
All we want you to do is to like and subscribe. And it's working. You are doing it. So we appreciate it. More people that do it, Martin, more eyeballs on the show, isn't it? And more people getting to hear about Ipswich Town,
And we are closing on 6,000 subscribers. We're closing in. I can see it getting closer and closer every day. So keep smashing that subscribe button, guys. It really does help. We've got some great comments coming in. Camo says, as a United fan, I think Ipswich can win 1-0. I think Camo, he might be a little bit biased there with his Man United glasses on, but we'll take it. We'll absolutely take it. Thank you so much for the comment and thanks for the positivity. Ryan says, City fan here, rooting for you guys this season. Hope you stay up. Good luck. Appreciate that, Ryan. And he's just subbed as well. Ryan, you legend. Welcome to the platform. Welcome. You'll find some absolute bizarreness goes on here, but we're all having fun. So that's the most important thing. Michael Brown, brilliant goal from David New for Scotland against Brazil. Outside the foot, striking the top corner, the Brazil goal, almost like a typical special Brazil goal.
It was magical for me because like Walkie heads, it's a great header from Walkie. Sort of heads cushioned header back down to the edge of the box, and there he volleyed it in, and like everyone's like, bloody hell, Scotland are going to beat Brazil here. Of course, the quality came through.
What was the score in the end? Because obviously this is way before my time.
It's 4-1. Brazil won 4-1. They get a free kick, I think, around on the edge of the box, and Zico, who was my favourite player at the time, just steps up and hits this curler over the wall. And Alan Ruff, who was in goal for Scotland, doesn't even move. That's how it doesn't even bother moving. It was that good. The curl on the free kick was that good.
So if we stop the story at 1-0, right? It's a good story to use for this weekend, right? Scotland take the lead.
We took the lead.
yeah. What happened after that? Oh, I can't quite remember. Don't know. But we'll just leave it at that story then at that point. It's a great place for that to stop. Paul Smith, good evening, all Town fans. Love the Liverpool game. Oh, let's just enjoy Saturday. Whatever the score, up the Town. As Skyline says, I would play all the new players that can play to get some time together. That's the most important thing, getting them to gel as soon as possible. No time for sentiment. We bought them for a reason, which we'll come on to very, very shortly, Skyline. But appreciate the comment. Sean says, any news on Wes Burns? Is he fit? There's not a press conference until tomorrow, so we might mention that a little bit in the Broja, which however you pronounce it.
You need to get the pronunciation of that.
I've been doing both. I'm going to be honest.
It's an Albanian. It's an Albanian name, isn't it? Now it's Spanish. It would be Borja.
Yes,
it's slightly different. I think we'll find out.
There's a great interview that he does with I want to say Southampton, but it might be Fulham club media, where they ask him, "How do you pronounce your name?" And I've been listening to it, and I've been like sort of going back to it throughout the course of the day. I still can't tell you. It doesn't sink in.
This is how professional you are for the audience, though, isn't it? You want to get the names absolutely right.
Of course I do. I want to try and entertain you all, first and foremost, and I can hear you all screaming with your fan at that already. So thanks for the comments. But
you're going to be saying his name a lot. He's going to bag 20 goals, I reckon.
This is it. This is it. This is why I'm doing it. I'm dreaming of the times on the match reaction show. I've got to be praising him up for winning the stage. But when he does come in, when it is confirmed, we do think it's a formality at this point. But until it's confirmed, I won't jinx it by going into a transfer special that we like to do on the show. But we are at squad maximum. We are at squad capacity. Who's sort of the first player that's going to be out of the door, as it were, once he's confirmed? Because we're still probably a left winger, or we possibly are in the market for a left winger still. So there might be one or two. But who's the first player for you that sort of maybe out on loan or a permanent?
Well, we know Cameron Humphreys is going to Wicker, and that looks like it's pretty much nailed on. I don't think that's been announced yet, but that looks like it's going to happen. And then I suppose you've got these kind of like a periphery player like, I don't know, Marcus Harness. I mean, people are divided, aren't they? Oh, he's not going to be good enough for the Premier League, without actually seeing him put in any Premier League minutes. I thought he'd done all right in against Liverpool. Again, we're now stockpiled for central midfielders, aren't we? With kind of like top level experience. Does that mean we've debated this already. Does that mean Jack Taylor might go back into the Championship possibly? So certainly Humphreys will go. Harness and Taylor, I think, probably just behind them. Kieran Slicker, they want to sort of move on to go and play in Scotland, although obviously with the injuries around Murich. But that was a big rumour, wasn't it, at the start of the summer? He had like a host of Scottish clubs to pick from.
I know, obviously, Al Hamadi's had a couple of clubs interested on loan, but I'd be surprised if Ali goes out before Ladapo goes out, either on a loan or a permanent. That would sort of surprise me a little bit. Yeah, I mean,
I think everyone's surprised that the Ladapo is still around, considering
it's been a quiet market for him, though, isn't it? From what I can, I don't remember seeing too many teams linked with a move for Freddie.
No, but he wasn't really in the shop window either, was he, last season? He's sort of like he only appeared for us in dispatches. Got that double, didn't he? The brace against Cardiff off the bench. Yep. But all contributes. Then he goes to Charlton, doesn't he, on loan? And then they changed manager up, didn't they? And Nathan Jones went in there, and he said, "I'm just going to play players that will be here next season," and he won't be here. So he was unlucky there, I suppose. So he's not really been in the shop window to show what he can do. And I think he was kind of like out of sight, out of mind a little bit with Ipswich fans, because suddenly everyone's going, "Oh, the Depot could be starting in the Premier League," and all that kind of thing, But I think probably in a perfect world, I think they probably would have moved him on by now. And I'm pretty certain Al Hamadi would have moved on by now as a loan, if he wasn't recovering from that minor op he had at the tail end of last season. And I think he came injured to Town, didn't he? I think they were managing that, weren't they? Whatever it was.
Yeah,
was
if I remember rightly.
Or something. Yeah, so I think they were managing that. But look, we love Al Hamadi. I mean, he's got great energy. He's been you think back to sort of real sort of cult heroes, don't you? Like Martin Royce and players like that, and Herman Hreiderson. And I think he fits that kind of mold, Al Hamadi. But I mean, look, the trajectory of his career has skyrocketed. I mean, we've got Wimbledon in the League Cup, haven't we? And at the top of the year, we had him in the FA Cup. And I remember them saying, "Oh, their top scorer, Al Hamadi, is at the Asia Cup for Iraq." And I was thinking, I've not even heard of him. And then by the end of the month, he's playing for us.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a bit like you said, Martin, before, isn't it? We've been on, it's such a skyrocket ride for Town that we've actually gone too quick for the development of some of those players.
For sure.
And Al Hamadi would go into the Championship, I would have thought, and get a good season under his belt to come back next season.
Yeah, and in terms of the player trading model, even if Town wasn't or didn't end up getting promoted, that was a player who arrived from AFC Wimbledon, and because of his performances in that short time frame, had already increased on his value on whatever they ended up paying for him. And that's what you want to do. And I think a loans period for the Championship would do him a world of good. Give him a season in that Championship campaign, and he'll come back a better player. But I still feel, because of his speed off the bench and how it's a different option or different profile of an option to what you're bringing in Brozier and what you've got in Delap. I think I'd like to keep him around the squad. And I started the summer with him being on my loan list, but I think I'd like that ability off the bench, that speed late in games. There's a different option to what you perhaps already have.
He does bring a different option. You're right. He's someone who can create chaos in the box with 10 minutes to go, I think.
Absolutely. Tired legs.
With the tired legs and everything. I suppose it's just a question mark over his development. Has he got the finishing required that we saw against Liverpool, didn't we? That we broke away with Amari, who's was scoring goals for fun last season, scoring worldies for fun, and even he was struggling just to get that ball under control in that minute, in that second when you've got an opportunity to go one up against Liverpool or get one back or whatever it might have been. So I do wonder whether or not he just might be a little bit too green for Ipswich at the moment. But I do like the fact that, like you say, he come off the bench, cause a bit of havoc, create a bit of chaos. All you got to do is stick out a boot in the box, try and connect it to a cross, and it could change the whole impact of a game, couldn't it? So yeah,
absolutely.
I do
David has put in 20 euros. David, thank you so much, and I hope all things are okay with you
as well.
Thinking of you. I hope all goes well. Appreciate the 20 euros. We've got a Southampton fan in the chat. I'd love to know your thoughts on Roja. Let us know sort of what we can expect as a player. Because obviously he was at Southampton. That's where he's played most of his.
That's where he actually put a run of games together, wasn't it? I think look, if you've not seen it, we did our Jens Cahoust show last night, didn't we? With Danny from Canada, Napoli fan. And I feel like Broja is similar to Cahoust in that he's been a bit unlucky with managers at Chelsea, and he had to manage an injury as well. He was out for a long time, wasn't he? ACL.
Yeah, that's the key, isn't it? He got injured with that terrible injury. But sort of you mentioned Chelsea, and I sort of laughed there because, I mean, as Jamie Carragher said, if you're a player, why are you signing for Chelsea? And he's obviously signed as a youngster, so very different in his circumstance.
Yeah.
But when you've got Lukaku as your fifth option, most teams would.
He's got off the boil as well, hasn't he? I mean,
how do you get on the boil, Matt? How do you get on the boil when you're at Chelsea? You can't.
It's very difficult. Yeah.
It's one of those. It's not Chelsea are now sort of one of those topics that you sort of people bring up and they start. People do respond with a laugh because it's like, what is just going on at Chelsea at the moment? With all those players and everything else.
He had that injury, didn't he? And I think he got the injury when Potter was there, and then obviously Pochettino came in, and he said he was like training. I think he was like recuperating alone, and he said he got more love out of Silvino, the Albanian manager. He said, "You're still going to be part and parcel of us going to the Euros, etc., than he did from his club managers." So it sounds like he's a big lad, he's a young lad. He's again like Cahoust, gone to different countries. He's played in tournament for Albania. He's gone to Vitesse Arnhem in Holland. He's gone to Southampton. So again, this is someone who's gone out of his comfort zone to try and carve a good career for himself. And I know he comes to Ipswich. So let's see. I mean, he could be cult hero status as well. Especially if he was to get cameo Saturday, comes off the bench, does something.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Half time for those that are on our Discord, which means you've hit the join button or a part of our Ko-Fi service. Don't forget, Talking Town's Matchday 4 is now live and in play. It's just four fixtures, predict the result, and there's a league table throughout the course of the season with prizes at the end to be announced, not at the end of this show, but at the end of the league table or the league campaign. So if you're on our Discord, if you're not yet on our Discord, why not? You can sign up at any point, cancel, which is not why I mention it. I mention it if you're not on it and you want to be on it, and you are a member, email me, martin@talkingtown.co.uk, because obviously we'd love for you to get involved and also jump on the Discord and join the conversation. We're working on it this week. I try to set it into categories. Within 5 minutes, the people who use the Discord have just said, "Nah, Gov, we're just stick the content anywhere we like." And I was just like, "Oh, that's fine, I love you lot." I try and organise it. Like I sit there, have a cup of coffee, and go, "Right, we're going to do this here," and then 10 minutes later, it's like I log back in. It's like that meme. You run back in, it's like everything's on fire. It's like, this is not how I left it.
It's herding cats, isn't it?
This is not how I left it. I love them for it. I absolutely love our Discord. I absolutely love it. There's so many people on it that are just great characters. So, try and stick to the categories. But they probably I'll say that. I know they won't. But we are also partnered with SolarWise Roofing and Building Services, Limited, solar panels, roofing services, UPVC roofline and groundworking services. So a whole manner of different things. If you've got an issue and it's building or roofing, give SolarWise Roofing and Building Services Limited a call on 01206 628 544. That's 01206 628 544. Or check out SolarWise Roofing and Building.co.uk. And I'm not going to lie to our community, because we are a big community and we're honest. Just tell the people at home how much I tripped over that on today's recording. How many times did I try and record that?
Yeah, there was a lot of takes, everybody. I mean, I was trying to get out of the house and it was going on and on and on. I had to be on. Still had to be on camera. You got there in the end, though, didn't you?
I did.
About it, yeah,
I did, but one take Gov was not a one take on that one.
No.
Believe me, because I was like, and my starter started to come out, and I was like, oh, this is not going well. This is not going well.
You got there in the end. It was all good.
Absolutely. Kai says, I know what Discord is. Discord is an app. It's like Twitter, but without it being a mass public forum. It's just people who have got the link that can join. So those that are a part of the community.
It's friendlier. It's friendlier than social media.
Because it's talking town community. Of course it is. It's much friendlier.
Yeah.
Jen says, come on, Ipswich, please win. I'll drop a link for how you join the Discord in the chat. If you so wish to, anybody, but again, moving it on. That wasn't why I was mentioning it. I was mentioning it so you could get involved with the game. On to Man City then, looking at the weekend. Do you know what? I've got some good news for you, Matt. Right?
Oh, go on.
Head to head, last 5. We've not lost to Man City since, for like 20 odd years.
What a record. I can see it continuing.
It's a great little record, right? So the last time we lost to Man City was in 2002 in the FA Cup.
The 4-1. The 4-1.
Yep.
I got into a row with a load of town fans that night because everyone started leaving at 4-1, but they couldn't get out of the stadium. So they was all crowded in the gangways. So now I couldn't see. So I said, you might as well just go back to your seats. They were going, we want to leave. I said, you can't get out of the stadium. That was the last 10 minutes. It was just,
it reminds me of the story that David said this morning about the season ticket that was got thrown back, and the letter in the post that said, if we've got to suffer through this, so have you.
Here it is back. It's like a boomerang.
Reminds me of that. But they actually mean nothing because it's been such a long time and the two clubs are different. But
that was a Sunday night, I think.
Yeah,
and I think it was 1-1, and I think Graham Poll gave them a corner when it was a goal kick for us, and they scored from it, and that kind of opened the floodgates. But I think that was the Kevin Keegan City team.
But if you want to go back to league action, they've not been since 1999. I mean, just excuse me while I pick up these straws that I've just dropped. I'm clutching at so many right now. But I just saw it and I thought that's a little bit of fun.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I've got a question for you, right? Here's a question for you, Mr. Phillips. The 2-1 in 2001 that we spoke about with David this morning, and that many town fans will remember. Obviously, it was on the TV.
When we relegated
Manchester City. How many of I just want to run through the Man City team, right? So it's Carlo Nash, Laurent Charvet, Richard Dunn, Weekins, Steve Howie, Danny Granville, Danny Tiato. Remember him as a player, Danny Tiato?
Tiato. That was the chant. He was Australian. I used to like him.
He was, yeah. Tony Grant, Jeff Wheatley, Paul Dickoff, and Paolo Wanchop was their team.
Wanchop scores, I think. I think he gets the goal, doesn't he?
No, it was Sean Gota with the goal.
Gota gets it
on the 74th minute.
That's right, because we go 1 down, didn't we, with 15 to go? That's right.
We did. And then
they wore a terrible strip. Grey shirt, black shorts, and like luminous yellowy green socks. Very odd.
Yeah. But Carlo Nash, I completely forgot about Carlo Nash playing for Man City.
Yeah. Exactly.
Completely and utterly forgotten. For me, it's always been Nicky Weaver.
Yeah, that's a proper Man City team for me. I mean, what they've got now is just sort of like when you've done a few seasons on FC 24 or whatever, you've just brought in loads of signings. That's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, but I've seen this thing in my head where it's like Nicky Weaver, and then Joe Hart, and then and then their current goalkeeper. I don't ever remember ever being anybody else. Maybe Peter Schmeichel for a game, but. That's just the way my brain
our future manager was in the dugout, wasn't he? Big Joe.
Big Joe was in the dugout. Yeah. Do you remember our team from that day? Richard Wright was in goal.
Richard Wright's in goal. Fabian.
Horizon. No, Fabian. Horizon. McGrill.
Venus.
No Venus.
Who's
Bramble.
Yes, okay. And then into
and Making was at fullback.
Chris Making.
I
used to like functional, wasn't he? Chris Making.
Yeah, wasn't my favourite player of that period, or wasn't even in my top 10. I was always a big Fab fan, always a big Fabian Builders fan.
I think that Connor Townsend we brought in from West Brom is kind of a similar kind of steady Eddie to Chris Making.
Sure,
he's that kind of fullback, isn't he? Well, Matty Holland, obviously, because doesn't Matty score in this game?
He does. Yeah, he
He
scores
gets
the first
equaliser.
goal 4
Yeah, he
minutes
gets the
later.
equaliser.
78. Yeah.
I know who gets
So-
the winner. I know who
Who
gets
gets the winner?
I'm pretty certain it's Roycer.
Correct. Yeah.
Yes.
So the rest of the team was Holland, Magilton, Roycer, Scowcroft, and Alan Armstrong.
Alan
And you know, back
Armstrong.
then, you didn't have many substitutes to choose from, did you?
No. How many subs could you make back in the day there?
Well, make 3, I would have
Two?
thought.
Two?
Two,
Was it two?
2, 3. I don't know. All I've got listed here on this site is on the bench for us was Naylor and Clapham. That's all it lists. It might have been more, but that's all it lists. And on their bench was Spencer Pryor, Mark Kennedy, and Sean Goater. Mark Kennedy, who, by the way, would go on to play for Town.
Yeah, feed the goat. Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, he was seen as one of the all-time great City strikers until the Supernova era kicked in.
Yeah, I mean, but he's still highly regarded up.
I'm sure he is.
The world, and as a legend, club legend, isn't he? I remember watching Gosa play. Great striker, really. I really enjoyed watching Gosa play. Back when I was a kid and I was more in love with the game of football as opposed to just in love with Ipswich and we have to win every single game. And I was just there'd be some
you were
some
too young
players,
for it, weren't you?
Yeah, some players of football clubs like Tony Adams was Arsenal. Sol Campbell at Tottenham. There's some players that I used to really love and think when I play on the playground or when I play on a Saturday, that's who I want to try and play like.
It was a midweek game, I seem to recall. April midweek game. I remember it was a really, really lovely spring evening. I'm pretty certain Ipswich had a guy dressed as the Green King, the brewery.
How's that work?
He was just dressed as a king with a big green cloak on, walking around with their mascot, which was an alien called Moonchester. Moonchester. Yeah.
All right.
So they had both mascots doing the rounds.
Nice. I'd say I'm too young for all that. All that stuff. I missed it. I saw it on TV. It was on BBC One, I think. I think it was on BBC One. I remember watching it on BBC One.
It would have been a Sky game, but maybe there was highlights because we're coming to the end of the season.
Could have been highlights.
A match of the day or something.
I remember watching on BBC, but I could be wrong. It could be thinking back and thinking it wrong. I know it was definitely on TV. Okay, so back to this weekend. I've picked an 11 I think will play. I want you to tell me where I'm wrong or how you tweak it. So this is my team for the weekend. Walton in goal. If Murich is fit, I'll just say this now. If Murich is fit, he starts for me. But Walton in goal. Wolfenden, Burgess, Greaves, Davis, Johnson, Morsey, Luongo, Hutchinson, Chaplin, Delap. I tried this last week, and McKenna's didn't do it, but I'm going to try it again. So I've gone for a change of formation. I've gone for that back three that can go to a 5 out of possession. Davis and Johnson on a width, Morsey and Luongo midfield, Hutchinson, Chaplin central, Delap. I've gone for the midfield 2 you see there because I'm so tempted, Matt. Every time I write it, I'm so tempted to put Kariusti in that midfield. And then I remember our friend Danny telling us, don't be in a rush to put him in. Let him adapt. Let him grow into club life with Ipswich Town. So don't be in a mad rush to push him in. But it's so tempting just to say Morsey and Karius. But that's my team. How do you see it? And more importantly, how do you guys and girls at home see it?
Yeah, well, I mean, Walton didn't put a foot wrong really last week, did he? I mean, he played very well against Liverpool at short notice. So normally he would keep the shirt, wouldn't he? Because he had played so well. But there is an argument if Murish is fit for him to come back because he's been signed as the number 1. But certainly Walton didn't let us down last week, and I'm pretty certain he wouldn't if he plays this weekend. I don't think there's any argument with the 3 there: Wolfenden, Burgess, Greaves. So you're bringing in Burgess over Axel.
Yes, I am. I'm going to a back 3, and I like Burgess and I like Axel.
Wolfie played in the middle last week, didn't he? And Twanzabi was on the right side, right?
Yeah, if I'm playing a back 3, I would like my 2 ball playing defenders to be either side of my central to be the organizer, the stronger of the 3, which is not to say the other 2 aren't strong, but Burgess is a mountain. He's strong in the air, and then of course his lack of pace can be protected a little bit by the 2 players around him. This isn't to say Axel didn't play well last weekend because he played well. This is me just looking at the back three, looking at who we're coming up against, knowing you can't defend Erling Haaland. So I'm not even going to try and really pretend these three are going to defend against Erling Haaland. But certainly as a makeup of a back three, I think those three complement each other really well.
I think that's
they're the three from last week, and I got a bit lazy, so I just didn't change it.
Well, that is a good three. And look, what have we said about Burgess? Probably one of the most improved players under McKenna since McKenna took over. So let's wait and see. I mean, there is an argument to put Axel in there. Let's not forget he's played in Champions League football, etc. So there's an argument to put him in there. But yeah, Sharon says here, Burgess deserves his Premier League debut. So I don't disagree there. Oh, the team's gone. The team's gone.
Oh, sorry. Did you want more of it? I thought
we're going through. Are we not?
I thought you'd scanned it. My mistake. Sorry, my friend.
Johnson. So are you thinking that Wes is not going to be available? Then is this the?
I don't know. Is the answer.
We don't know, do we? We've not had any inklings on this one. The jury's still out for me on Johnson. I mean, he did okay. I mean, look, it was a bit harsh just to say when he came into that role on Saturday. He wasn't really prepared for that, was he? Because who could see that Wes was going to do a hamstring or have a knock there? And it seems he was unfortunate to have to go into that position. I think. I'm not sure about him.
But is it the game for Burns? If unless you're 100%, like you've got 36 other games after this. Of course, the Man City being at home is one of them. Yeah. It's a tough place to go, and of course, you want your best 11 playing. But for me, as a fan, if there's any doubt, if he's 75%, 80%, 60%, nothing but 100%, I go with other options this week because we've got 36 others. Fulham being where many have said the season really starts.
Yeah. Plus you've got to legislate for the fact that we're going to probably have a flat five at some point.
At some point, I'd have thought a lot of
from kickoff. So I mean, look, Johnson does fill that role there. I mean, I'm not sure about him getting forward particularly. Not that I've seen loads of him going forward, but I don't know. So yes, I get the idea of that to go to the five because we are going to be under pressure. And I think Morsey and Luongo is probably going to be the two. Like, as Danny said, Cahoos probably that'd be too much too soon for him. We know Calvin can't play, and Luongo probably gets the nod over Jack Taylor. And I think actually Morsey and Luongo played very well in the first half last week against an elite Liverpool midfield. Let's not sleep on that. They played very well together, I thought. I would probably start Smodics over Chaplin.
Okay. Why would you do that? Because Alex says game suits Smodics with a fast counter because he had goals from the Leeds when he scored at Ellen Road.
Don't forget, in my premonition, he scores early doors.
He does. Yeah, he comes off the bench.
So he's got to be on the pitch. I think, we had some comments, didn't we, off the back of from the Sunday show. Liverpool people were saying, not sure about Chaplin. Is he going to be Premier League quality? Well, I think it's too early. You can't judge him on 90 minutes against one of the world's best clubs, can you? But certainly, I think, I don't know, certainly I'd like to see Smodics in the cut and thrust of action against Manchester City, one of the world's best clubs, if not the world's best club, and see how he fares. Just because we know how good a finisher he is, he can score from distance. I was reading on The Athletic that generally he scores most of his goals to the bottom left, to his right, so to the left of the keeper, just inside the post. So, shooting from distance. So, yeah, I would throw Smodics in there. And I think Amari's a no-brainer. And probably Delap, I'd totally agree with that. So, yeah, I'd bring Smodics in, certainly up top.
Okay, excellent. Just trying to find Sean's lineup. He says, see my earlier post for lineup. And I can't find it, Sean. So unless you can copy and paste it for me, I'm not going to be able to bring it up to the chat, but love to know how you see it at home before we come to our score predictions, which judging by the Discord prediction league is going to be full of positivity, but we shall really see on that one. Before we do, I want to introduce a little game. Obviously, we've got the prediction league for the Discord users. We've got the Fantasy Premier League for everybody. If you like playing your Fantasy Premier League, do get involved. But I want to bring in a little game which I like to play in the NFL world. So I want to bring it into the town world, right? It's called, I think they call it Survivor. They certainly called it Survivor a couple of years ago, right? So it's where you can choose one Premier League team only once that is going to be a guaranteed win that week, right? And once you've used that team, you can't use them the following week. So if you use Man City, for example, to pull one out this week, you can't then use Man City for the remainder of the the game, which obviously will be 19, 18 weeks, 20 weeks. 19 weeks, it'll be 19 weeks. Because obviously, no, you could choose Ipswich. 20 weeks. It'll be 20 weeks. Because of course you can choose Ipswich. What am I thinking of? So yeah, so for 20 weeks, but you can only choose them once. All right. So I'm going to put up the fixtures in a second, and I want you to leave your comments, leave your team in the comments, not in the live chat because it won't get picked up, but in the comments of the video, if you do want to take part, leave your team this week that's your designated survivor. But as I say, you can only choose them once through the next 20 weeks. So choose wisely, look at the fixture list. And if you miss a week, you're out. So you've got to play every week. That's the rules in the NFL world. So I'm bringing the rules into this world. You've got to play every week, and you can only choose one team. All right. So it's a fairly. I like doing it because I'm like, okay, who's gonna really let me down this time? Because you get to a game like Man City versus Luton or whatever, and you're like, okay, it's Man City. But if you choose Man City versus Luton like last year, you then can't choose Man City versus Burnley. Right. And you have to really sort of plan where you're going to go, Matt, because otherwise you get to a point where it's Burnley Luton and you're like, shit.
Toss a coin.
Yeah. Which was my, and you're like, if you win it, you can be through like the semis, the finals or whatever. And you're like,
are you going to be, is this something else you're going to be recording what everyone's putting down as clubs then?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. You're going to be busy, aren't you?
I can do this one because it's in the chat and it'll be there forever, and it will say when it was edited. So no shenanigans. You see, I just want to do it, and I'm going to take part as well, and then obviously when I win it as the seasoned vet,
yeah, of course, yeah,
I can't be accused that I'm cheating it because obviously I'm not involved in any of it. So these are the fixtures this weekend for you to choose from. There's some good ones. There's some interesting ones. But here's your fixtures for the Saturday: Brighton, Man United, Palace, West Ham. So, like Palace, West Ham, for example, you wouldn't want to be choosing one of those as a team.
Too close to call that, isn't it?
That's tricky, isn't it? Tottenham, Everton, Villa, Arsenal. Another game you wouldn't really want to choose. I mean, out of the Saturdays, you'd probably would say Man City.
Yes, we're not going to say that, are we? I mean, certainly, look, we covered it last weekend. Everton looked shocking at Goodison against Brighton. I mean, look, go down to 10 men, still look really poor. So, I mean, Spurs could be one. I mean, there was 1-1, wasn't it, at Leicester? They should have won that themselves, really. So they'll be looking to get 3 points on the board, I think, against Everton.
Bournemouth, Newcastle appeals to me a little bit. Like, I'll take some time to think about it, but I might fancy Newcastle away at Bournemouth. I might.
Don't sleep on Bournemouth. Good manager. Good defensively against Nottingham Forest last week.
Chelsea away at Wolves.
Don't know.
I mean, Chelsea obviously got so many players to choose from. They could probably play that game every day of the week. But
Chris Hall seems to think Wolves could go down, but he would say that as a West Brom fan, wouldn't he? So with that, that could be false information. Certainly, I feel like Liverpool could beat Brentford. The Liverpool we saw in that second half last week at Anfield. Slot's debut at Anfield. That seems a good one.
Excellent. Harp says, don't use all the big guns too early.
He sounds like he's talking from experience.
He does. Harp. He does mention it a bit on the chat. This, he mentions that there's something he's a part of, which is like a huge payout. No money involved here, my friends. Just playing for fun. Playing for the prize.
Once you've got one wrong, that's it. You're done.
You're out. You're out of there. You're gone. You're finished. Well, it's called Survivor for a reason, Matt.
Well, we have, the clues in the title, I guess.
Or Last Man Standing. I'll put something into the old thought brain for the actual proper title. So I reckon NFL probably trademark, Survivor. They might not have done.
Premier League Survivor.
Yeah. And I'll even do the winner a little trophy at the end of the year, right?
Oh, God. So you're full of enthusiasm at the start of the Premier League at the moment. Let's see what happens with the town as we get towards winter.
What was that Tom Hanks film called? Was that called Survivor? With Wilson, the ball in it?
Castaway.
It's called Castaway. Still, it's a shame, isn't it? Because it was called Survivor. I could have got Wilson, the football, as a little trophy.
Yeah.
You could have had Wilson every year.
That goes to show you get stuck on a desert island, you become friends with a volleyball.
There you go. So get involved if you want to play. But anyway, score prediction time. I asked a contributor for their score prediction. I'm going to give mine. Matt's going to give his and tell us if he agrees with one of ours or if he's got one that's different. So this may surprise some people. I've asked Ben Adams, but I've gone for a 1-0 Town win.
Oh my God. What you been? Did you do this at Lanzarote when he was on that all-inclusive beers?
I've gone for a 1-0 Town win. Ben's gone for a 4-1 Man City win. I'll tell you what I've gone for 1-0 Town, Matt. I'll try and sell it to you. Here's the vision. Here's the pitch,
Go
right?
on, then.
My best Mark Atchin impression, right?
Yeah, go
So
on then.
it's 90 minutes. It's a game of football. It takes one VAR decision. It takes one refereeing decision. It takes one ball of the bounce of the ball. It takes one player, like we saw against Newcastle, getting a red card for a. Was it a red card? Is it a red card? Don't know. It's just football. All manner of things have happened, and I've seen my team lose at Pullman Road to Lincoln 1-0, and I took that as inspiration, and I thought, by damn it, if Lincoln can do it, so can we.
I do love the optimism, but I'm going with Ben's one, 4-1, like the Brazil-Scotland that referenced earlier. I don't think we'll embarrass ourselves. I mean, on paper, it looks kind of like, oh God, we've got a bit of a C and 2, but I think we'll put in a good performance. I think we can get into that, as we said it with Dave in that show, but I think we can get a little bit physical with City. I mean, but Bernardo, that Rico Lewis, Doku, they're not the biggest of players. Now we'll have to wait and see whether the likes of Ake or Stones or Grealish or Foden come back in the side. Cole Walker, they was all sat on the bench, weren't they, at Stamford Bridge? I tell you where there is a positive is that there's question marks around Edison, isn't there? And he's had his head turned by maybe moving to Saudi, which hasn't happened yet. And they said, you're seeing a bit of a hangover of this because in the Community Shield, what's he well known for? His distribution, his kicking. And it was a bit sort of wayward at Wembley. And then against Chelsea, he got away with a couple of spills that, going back to your theory, you might not get away with in another 90 minutes. So, I mean, look, if we do try from distance, Sammy Smodix as a go, you don't know. But I think we won't embarrass ourselves. I think we'll put in a good performance. I think Kieran will be happy with it. And I think probably 4-1's probably about right. But I do hope we take the lead, just to give all the travelling Town fans in the stadium and everyone watching around the world that little 1 minute of glory as we take the lead at the Etihad. I do hope that does.
Yeah. David says, am I on something in the chat? I'm not on something. I'm just a Town fan first and foremost. And David this morning, like, this is the progress of this is the evolution of my positivity, Matt, right? So this morning at 9:01, I've got Man City to beat Ipswich Town 3-0 in our prediction, Talking Town's Matchday 4 prediction league, right? Yeah. We then speak to David, what, 10:30? So at 8:30 this evening, I'm saying Town are going to win 1-0. That's the evolution of positivity.
It's a real U-turn, that, isn't it? Oh, we're going to lose 3-0. Actually, I think we'll win 1-0. Yeah.
It was David. He put the seed into my brain. And through the course of the day,
Here's the big question for you. What strip are we going to wear? Will we go... Because City wore their home strip against Chelsea's blue. That's that. Because could we wear the blue? Are we going to see the claret? Could we see the pink get debuted? Options.
Just like our midfield, we've got options. Just like our attack, we've got options. We've got, this is the club of options. This is really.
Yeah. We'll see.
They even like me giving McKenna options of kit.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
So I don't know. Probably
Will Borja be a Broha? I can't even say it now. Broha? Will he be an option for Banter, I wonder? Let's wait and see.
Broja? I'm not quite sure still.
I think we'll debut the claret as well. I think that.
So I've said it before, but I really want to go to the NFL style of printing weeks in advance what kits they're wearing. Like, why? Like, it must be decided already, right? Like, or they must know.
Yeah,
all right, these are your games, and these are the kits that you're going to be wearing on these games. Like, they must know when they're going to have to use these kits. And I like that. Not that I ever follow
transparency, don't you? What strip are we going to be wearing? I'm
all for transparency, me.
Yeah,
all for it.
Yeah,
all for it. But there we go. We're done. We're dusted. What a great show. We've done 48 minutes without a transfer special on a half-hour show.
We're only going to do half hour. We get talking. Suddenly, Martin invents games called Survivor, Premier League Survivor.
I've been wanting to do it for ages, and I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to go for it.
Yeah.
If people want to play, they can play. If they don't, they don't. David says, "Who's my team? My team is the greatest team in NFL history. I'll let you decide at home who that may be. There's only one.
They are good, but not as good as my team.
They were good. Basically, they're like Ipswich. They were good in the 80s.
Yeah, they're very good. Yeah.
And if you're a modern fan like I am, in terms of like age, we like to talk about that team of the 80s, having never really seen it. But it's you saw it, so you can talk about it with such pride that you remember it. But when I watched this team of the 80s, the Bears team of the 80s, there you go, it's my team. I'm like, this is a great team, but I don't remember seeing it.
We're very good.
But yeah, so we were good then. But Davies is 49ers. But there we go. But
when you need to explain it in the comments for everybody, watching the video back on demand, just in case they don't get it from the video. The rules of Survivor.
The rules of Survivor is very easy.
Yeah. I'm just thinking you could just clarify it in the comments, couldn't you? And they
could clarify it in the comments. It's very easy. Choose one Premier League team per week. You can only choose once per game. You're right. I better clarify.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe. Join us again very soon.
Maybe tomorrow.
Maybe tomorrow. Yes, hopefully tomorrow for a signing. But thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget Stowmarket Osteopaths 01449 613 6333 is the governor there. Tell him the governor sent you from Talking Town. Okay, Colin says, don't understand what NFL is. Come on, Colin. Anyway, Stowmarket Osteopaths for you. Don't live life in pain. Here's the Media Mogul. I am the Gov. 50 minutes in the bank. See you tomorrow, hopefully. If not, match reaction show. Post our 1-0 win at Man City. Come on. Don't stop believing his journey once then.
You make me smile when I think of you. If I am down low and I am blue, I can't get enough. You make me happy, I feel so fine. Oh, how I wish that you were mine. I can't get enough. I woke up all soaked in sweat, weird chills running down my neck. I'm going crazy from just the thought of you. A long blonde hair.